Pritchard, Matt Alfaro, Sean Josling. Up front, the D are Patrick McNally and Matt Miller, the goaltender Alex Dorio for Wheeling. Our referee Logan Gruhl drops the puck and away we go on this Sunday afternoon in Indy. They're out to stop it. Indy can't get it out of the zone as it's sent back in behind the net where Tim Davison takes it. Outlets it right to the tape of Spencer Watson. Laterally from Marcineau across the Wheeling line up the right wing boards. Poke checked by McNally. Marcineau gets back to it, tried to shovel it up the boards, but it was picked off by Jacob Pritchard and then turned back over to Davison at the line. He tried to headman forward, but it was corralled by the Nailers.
Real nice first shift there by the new Indy Fuel player Tim Davison. Good breakout pass coming as he found Spencer Watson just streaming through the middle of the ice in his own zone, then hit Seamus Malone. So a good first shift for him to get some legs under him, get some touches on the puck.
This is Davison's first game since January 9th when he was playing for the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. The Fuel are going to go shorthanded. Here recently, the last 8 games, been 77.8% on the kill, and Wheeling 7.7% on the power play in the last 6. Indy won the draw, but Jolie held the puck in at the line. Feeds McNally, works it over to the left circle for Sylvester. Behind the net, Rivera back to Sylvester along the left wing boards. To the bumper, Watling up top now, McNally. Right circle, Jolie. Surveys and then just turned the puck over. Missed stick handled. Ryan Zulsdorf took it and fired it all the way down. That allows Indy to get fresh penalty killers on the ice.
Yeah, that's the way you clear the puck there from Ryan Zulsdorf. Original faceoff won by Matt Marcineau back to Zulsdorf. Couldn't get it out the first time, but no harm, no foul as he was able to hop all over that loose puck and clear it all the way down the ice.
1:16 to go in Wheeling's power play as Rivera takes it in. Now Watling behind the Fuel net for Wheeling. Right side now. Feeds Sylvester right circle. 45 seconds to go in Wheeling's power play. In behind the net, Rivera tried to stuff it and couldn't as Bakula sealed the post. Matthew Thompson gets the puck and clears it out. And will this be a delay of game? It will. And so Wheeling's going to have a 5-on-3 for 38 seconds and a suboptimal start here for the Fuel.
Well, Matthew Thompson was first to that puck in a penalty-killing situation, though you have one less guy than the opposition. If you can win those races to loose pucks and find a way to clear it all the way down, that's a great thing. But there, a little bit too much air underneath the puck for Matthew Thompson. And you know what he's trying to do? Trying to just send that puck off the glass and clear it all the way down, but had the pitching wedge as opposed to the 3-iron, and now the Indy Fuel go down to 2 men. 5-on-3 situation for 38 seconds.
And they're going with 2 forwards and a defenseman here. It's Marcineau to take the draw with Waked and Martinet. Wheeling wins it. McNally has it at the left point. 33 seconds to go on the 5-on-3. McNally up top now for Alfaro. They'll work it low. Jolie with Josling. Back to Jolie below the goal line. Plays it back for Josling. Up top now, Alfaro surveys, feeds McNally in the right circle. 17 seconds to go on the 5-on-3. McNally curls back. Feeds Jolie, who will now bring it up to the right point. Center point now. Jolie down the slot. Feeds McNally. Right circle. One of the Fuel players fell down. Feeds Jolie in the middle. He shoots. Back with a pad save. And Cuglietta is out of the box. It's 5-on-4. Jolie, center point, shoots wide. Lively carry him off the inboards, but Bakula able to seal the near post away from Josling. Josling has the puck, back diagonal, feed Jolie, left circle, shoots, blocker save, Bakula, and it's cleared all the way down by Matt Marcineau.
That was a great 38-second kill of the 2-man advantage for Wheeling. They kept that triangle nice and tight and compact. And Dan Bakula there would make a couple of great saves. Now down to just a 1-man disadvantage.
Josling sends it in, and the Fuel played it out, but Wheeling was offside. So we'll have a face-off at center ice with 52 seconds to go on Matthew Thompson's delay of game penalty.
Not a lot of movement in the key, especially on a power play when you're going up against 3 guys. You want to get them moving because considering, especially if they're down 2 players, the more you can get them to move and try and open up those cross-play seams. And you can see Jolie and Josling working that play down low, trying to draw Indy Fuel penalty killers low to then move it high, looking for a one-timer option, but some real good penalty killing so far.
Patrick Watling brings it into the Fuel zone. Mike Lee shovels it behind his own net, but the Nailers take it, but Michael Pelech takes it back and backhands it all the way down the ice. Half a minute. He'll dangle past Antoine Waked, tied up. Waked is able to chip it forward to Marcineau. 2-on-1 developing for the Fuel. Marcineau across the line, down to Waked, right down Main Street, feeds it back across for Marcineau, and he couldn't get it through on Dorio, who was able to stick it aside. And Thompson's out of the box, and we're back to 5 aside. Good pair of kills for the Fuel.
And nearly ended it up with a goal at the end. Patrick Watling for Wheeling makes an unbelievable play. Thought that he had overcommitted too far to the outside, and then Waked trying to send it back to Matt Marcineau on a backdoor play. Looked really similar to a goal that the Chicago Blackhawks scored last night. Brandon Hagel and Dominic Kubalik. Just a quick breaking play from the neutral zone in which they made 2 passes in a 2-on-1 situation, but give credit to Patrick Watling, who came diving back. The first pass got through him, but he made sure that the second one didn't go back across, because if it does, Dorio probably is out of position and the puck probably ends up in the back of their net.
Settled down there by the Nailers. Marino along the near boards tries to headman to the Fuel line to Garrett Hunt. Sends it back in behind the Fuel net where it's taken by Ryan Zulsdorf. Good outlet pass to Hutchison. Rink wide through the neutral zone, right to the tape of Spencer Watson. He dips the shoulder, turns to goal, and he's forced wide. And there's a reason why. It was illegal. And the Fuel going to the power play when Wheeling touches the puck. Spencer Watson, right circle, sends one goalward. Pelech tries to jam it on goal once, twice, 3 times. And Dorio able to make the save. The Fuel players have sticks in the air. I think they were celebrating initially, but Dorio was able to keep it out. Now we have a lot of pushing and shoving after the plays. You might expect with Garrett Hunt, Marino, and Skio all on the ice.
Well, you know what, Andrew? It looked to me like that puck went into the back of the net before the whistle went. Now, I don't know if they're going to review this or not, but at least from my angle, I could see the puck, at least that's what it looked like, cross the goal line before the whistle had went. I mean, it doesn't look like they're going to look at it, but a great jam play, and that all started off of a beautiful outlet play by Ryan Zulsdorf, playing in his second game as an Indy Fuel player. Was able to elude the forecheck of both Hayhurst and Hunt, and then all of a sudden Spencer Watson comes down the other way. So you transition from defense to offense, you come out of your own zone clean, you get in the hands of Spencer Watson, you almost score, and you draw a penalty.
Patrick McNally will sit for hooking for Wheeling. And it could be as well that the referee ruled that Wheeling had touched the puck and had enough control of it to blow the play dead.
Because you could see at the end of the play, Dorio was just kind of pulled the puck out of the net, and obviously if they're not going to go take a look at it, then obviously they don't feel that there was anything in terms of a goal on that play.
Mike Lee on the power play tried to feed Cuglietta in the slot. Tried to feed a seam pass to Cuglietta. It was broken up, but Diego gets it back along the right wing boards. Bumpers inside looking for Marcineau. He gets a one-timer off, but Dorio able to make the save.
That was a great 3-way passing play, and Matt Marcineau all alone. There was nobody within 3 or 4 feet of him. Got a clean shot on net, but he just put it right into the stomach of Dorio, who made a pretty easy save.
Wheeling always aggressive on the penalty kill. Matthew Thompson able to beat the first layer, but not the second. Brady Tomlak takes the puck away, and it's loose at the Fuel line. Rivera sends it back for his D. Topatic has it. 53 seconds to go on the Fuel's power play. The penalty to McNally, and Wheeling able to clear it all the way down.
Sometimes that aggression works against you, too, because you get caught running out of position in your own zone or get caught with 2 or 3 players up the ice.
Pirog gains the line, feeds Thompson, sends it across for a goal! Matthew Thompson sent it across, and the Fuel take a 1-0 lead as Michael Pelech stuffs it in for another goal against his former team. And Pelech with a power play goal gives Indy the early lead.
Well, how good has Michael Pelech been since coming to the Indy Fuel? He had 6 points coming into this game in 7 games. This is game 8. You can make that point. Number 7, his 4th goal for the Indy Fuel. Is just driving hard to the net. I love when power plays score off the rush, because most penalty kills think you're just going to enter the zone, pass the puck around, and set up and then get into your scheme. Not that play by the Indy Fuel, moving it from wide to the middle, and you love the big man going to the net. Big goal for Pelech and the Indy Fuel after killing off a 5-on-3 earlier, score on the power play.
And a chance for Wheeling right off the face-off as Patrick Watling got loose right in front of the Fuel goal, but Dan Bakula able to shut that down and get a whistle. 12:51 to go in the first period. The Fuel lead 1-0. This is Indy Fuel hockey. This is the 12th game that Michael Pelech has played in games involving the Indy Fuel and Wheeling Nailers. He had 6 assists for Wheeling in 9 games against the Fuel. He now has 2 goals and 2 assists in 3 games against Wheeling for the Fuel. His goal giving Indy a 1-0 lead. A power play tally from Nick Pirog, the 2nd assist, and Matthew Thompson with the 1st. And Indy with the 1st goal of the game. Back to action. Wheeling enters the zone offside. 12:35 to go in the 1st period. Pellick's goal came at 7 minutes exactly.
Well, you talk about change of scenery. It's been great for Michael Pellick, and it's a guy who played 20 games earlier this year for the Wheeling Nailers. He had 10 assists, so it wasn't an awful year, but just said, he wasn't really feeling it. Just felt like there were more things holding him back than were allowing him to develop and move forward. And this is a guy who's played over 700 games in the league. Now he comes to the Indy Fuel, very warm and welcoming dressing room, and he's just been putting up points like it's no one's business. So change of scenery has really helped him, especially on the goal-scoring front.
4 goals and 7 points, and now 7 games and half a period for Michael Pellick for the Fuel. Michael Jolie was loose in front of the net, but he gulped it over on the backhand. Delayed penalty coming on the Fuel. McNally with it left point. Tries to lose Watson. Send it in front for a deflection that goes wide. Miller sends it back up top. The extra attacker on the delayed penalty. McNally over the far side. Alfero's pass is deflected out to center. And McNally will pick it up there. And Wheeling will regroup.
Real nice quick stick lift there by Spencer Watson. Hayhurst had found some soft area, foot in front of Dan Bakala, lift the stick and denied the opportunity.
Wheeling's entry doesn't connect. Tim Davison touches the puck, and the Fuel will be shorthanded for the next 2 minutes. Logan Gruel, our referee today, has not been afraid to call penalties. This is the 4th minor and the 3rd on the Fuel, as Seamus Malone will sit for a cross-check at the 8:09 mark of the 1st.
No question about that call. Anytime you have 2 hands on your stick and you push your stick into the back of somebody else, especially the upper back where you're going to send them head over heels, that's going to be a penalty, no question, and it's Michael Jolie right in the mix of it. Anytime anything offensive good happens for this Wheeling Nailers team, you better believe 88 in black is going to be in the mix as he draws a penalty there and sends his team to another power play.
Fuel win the draw, and Zulsdorf clears it out to neutral ice. Fuel shorthanded for the 3rd time in this game. Wheeling 0 for 2 on the power play. That includes 38 seconds of 5-on-3. Tho up the far side through neutral ice to Tomlak, to Josling, try to give and go with Tomlak, but Bakala sticks it aside. Now we have another penalty. A high stick has been called. And one of the Nailers is down. Chris Martinet is arguing.
Well, Chris Martinet, all 6'7" of him. He probably uses a stick that's about 6'6". Great anticipation there by Dan Bakala to be able to come out and use his stick, poke check like a defenseman, and take away that opportunity right at the net front as the Wheeling Nailers were trying to score off the rush, and then the stick of Martinet comes high and clips a Wheeling Nailer forward. So all of a sudden now you got another 5-on-3, this time for 1:38. Earlier in the game it was Fritz for 38 seconds.
Matt Marcineau to take the draw, and it's won by the Nailers along the goal line. Along the right side, brings it up to the top of the right wing circle, and now out center point. He'll walk down Main Street, try to stick handle past the top of the triangle. Poke check by Teixeira. Puck loose along the far boards. Teixeira able to sweep it free to Marcineau, who clears it all the way down.
Well, the initial stick play by Matt Marcineau just forced Jolie to lose the puck. It was just kind of rolling on him, and then all of a sudden you got Keone Teixeira coming in to provide some support, and the clearance from Marcineau. Great penalty killing.
Nailers gain the zone. Feed it in front. Josling fires on goal, and Bakala makes an incredible save and then does the snow angel to try to cover the puck. It came free, but the whistle had blown. And Dan Bakala makes a big save as Alfaro had found Josling all alone in front for the backdoor tip.
That's desperation from Dan Bakala. Arguably the best goaltender in the entire ECHL. Huge stop there off of another rush scoring chance on the power play for Wheeling. A lot better movement on this power play for them, forcing the penalty killers to have to move around and try and cover a lot more space, which is especially tough when you just have 3 guys.
Jolie able to dig the puck free off the draw. McNally has it, center point, into the left circle. Now drops it for Alfaro at the left point. Sends it low for Pritchard, and he ducks the shoulder, goes to Jolie, right corner. They'll bring it out to the right circle. 33 seconds to go on the 5-on-3. Here's a shot blocked, diving block by Waken on Alfaro. Jolie, left circle over to McNally, right circle, skates in, shoots, blocked by Lee. Indy can't clear. McNally kicks it up to the point to Josling, feed it in front, Bakula slides across, makes another incredible save. Puck loose, diving clear made by Matt Marcineau. 10 seconds to go on the 5-on-3. Wheeling trying to gain the zone. Comes free into the high slot. Matthew Thompson finds it and hammers it all the way down.
Exhibition penalty killing from the Indy Fuel. Great block shot earlier by Waked, then by Lee. You had three players start to leave the zone, which allowed that opportunity at the net front for Wheeling. What a save by Bakula.
And now a poke check from Raskob. And Nick Pirog will send it all the way down. Seamus Malone's out of the box. Chris Martinet will be in 5 seconds. We'll be back to 5 aside. Fuel lead 1-0. And Martinet's out of the box. And right away, able to lay a hit on Tho as the puck came right to him. It's loose at center. Comes to the Indy line. Tim Davison ahead to Pellick, and he'll wrap it in.
Those are two massive, massive kills. You talk about game-changing plays, and we're still in the first half or just beyond the first half of the first period. 2 5-on-3 kills. Unbelievable job for the Indy Fuel.
And your goalie's got to be your best penalty killer, and Dan Bakula was there making a couple of impressive post-to-post saves. Fuel gained the line. McNicholas does so offside. And so we'll have a whistle with 8:56 to go in the first period. Indy leads 1-0 on Michael Pellick's power play goal. And the Fuel 4 for 4 on the penalty kill, including more than 2 minutes of 5-on-3 penalty kill.
It gives you a lot of energy to just kill off a 5-on-4, but especially a 5-on-3. And for how long that last one was, 1:38, Dan Bakula making some unbelievable saves. The old adage, your goaltender has to be your best penalty killer. He was that and then some, making 3, not golden, I'd say platinum saves in the crease, traversing from one side to the other.
Fuel win the draw, and Teixeira will send it in the zone. And the thing we've seen is both teams, after a power play or penalty kill, they're going with their beef. Hunt and Marino for Wheeling, and Darian Skio often getting that shift when they're on the ice for the Fuel.
Yeah, you look at a guy like Garrett Hunt. This is his 12th season, but in 10 of 11 seasons prior in the ECHL, over 200 penalty minutes every year. And when you look at him on the ice, you wouldn't think that he is only 5'9", a little under 200 pounds, so he's not like the big, enforcer, intimidator type of player, but plays a really hard game, and a big pickup for this Wheeling Nailers team to try and beef up, add some team toughness. And certainly a guy who's played this many years brings that veteran leadership as well.
He's been the captain of both the Stockton Thunder and the Alaska Aces. All-time leader in penalty minutes, more than 2,600. As the Fuel bring it into the Wheeling zone, it comes to Jacob Pritchard. He clears. Ian Waken able to win the puck for Indy. Pellick in the left wing corner in the Wheeling end. Up top, Martinet's one-timer goes wide. Zulsdorf holds it in along the right boards. Into the bottom of the right circle, he shoots. Save made, rebound loose in front. Save again by Dorio, but the Fuel headed to the power play as a hooking minor forthcoming on Wheeling. The Fuel 1 for 1 with the man advantage and going back to the power play as Shane Kuzmeski will sit for the next 2.
It's been an excellent period for the defenseman of the Indy Fuel, number 5, Ryan Zulsdorf. He's made a couple of really great plays, but simple plays. I'm really digging the simplicity from the Indy Fuel defensemen in their own zone. They're seeing that the walls are taken away, and if the walls are taken away, what's open? The middle of the ice, which is where Zulsdorf has made a couple of really nice passes, and then takes that one right into the offensive zone, the offensive third of the ice, and draws a penalty. So doing it all in both ends, the Fuel back to the power play.
Shane Kuzmeski for hooking at 13:57 sends Indy to the power play for the second time in this game. And Matt Marcineau wins the draw back to Lee, but a good stick by Cody Sylvester forces it out to center. The Fuel look to re-enter. Cuglietta right down the middle. Back feed from McNicholas, and his one-timer goes just wide of the left post. He had an open side, but couldn't get it on goal. The Nailers find the loose puck and send it all the way down.
That was a great opportunity. Michael McNicholas, after a 3-way passing play for the Fuel, after the quick up, and McNicholas was just a little far from the net, tried to shovel it towards the goal. I think he just came off of his toe. He didn't quite get the accuracy or strength of the shot that he would have liked. Great opportunity.
Mike Lee.
This is Indy Fuel Hockey with Nick Olczyk and Andrew Smith.
What's going on, Indy Fuel fans? Did you know that a yearly subscription to Flow Hockey gets you access to all Flow sports sites, including Flow Football, Flow Wrestling, Flow Hoops, and a lot more? So please, go get yourself a Flow Sports subscription. They got a lot of great stuff going on there. Always fun to browse around and find some new sports that maybe you haven't even watched before.
Feed for Jolie, left circle. He'll curl up to the center point. Feed Topatic, his shot blocked or goes wide. Tomlak battling for it over in the far corner. Now they feed it to Jolie, all alone in front. Tries to dangle on Bakala, who is on top of the puck, and makes the save and does the Snow Angel to get the whistle with 2:29 to go in the first period. If you're Wheeling, you can't ask for a better chance than Michael Jolie all alone in front with nobody between him and the goaltender.
That's the guy you want with the puck in that situation if you're Wheeling. And what's that, the third, maybe fourth time Dan Bakala has ended up in a Snow Angel in his crease? I mean, it's not snowing outside. It's snowing in the crease with as much as time as he's had to move around in the blue paint. Big time missed assignment. You had two defensemen go low, leaving Jolie all alone. And look, that's the kind of guy you cannot leave in that position all alone with Dan Bakala. And I think helping Bakala, when the pass came to Jolie, it kind of started bouncing and bobbling, so then he had to kind of settle it down, and then by the time he did that, he just stick-handled it into Dan Bakala, and I think the officials are going to look just to make sure that that puck did not cross the goal line. Didn't see anything from up here if it did or did not. Certainly didn't see it cross the goal line, but we'll await the images on the iPad to see if it did indeed. But just a big breakdown in coverage for the Fuel, and again, you have to know when Michael Jolie's on the ice, because if he gets that opportunity again, more times than not, he's going to bury.
And that was at the end of a stretch where Wheeling had a lot of extended zone time.
And Tim Davison doing a great job working down low. And you had Willie Raskob, number 44 in white. He was anticipating a pass to go behind the net. And I wasn't sure if it was Michael McNicholas or Spencer Watson who left the net front, leaving Jolie wide open. So a big-time breakdown and no harm, no foul as Bakala was able to make the save. And it's decided that the puck did not fully cross the goal line, so still a 1-0 game.
Dan Bakala has had to be called on a number of times in this game. He's made 8 saves, and at least 3 of them of the highlight reel variety. But line 3-on-2 initially as Miller tried to center, but it's deflected up and out of play by the stick of Ryan Zulsdorf, playing a second game with the Fuel. And in the 4 periods we've seen him in an Indy Fuel sweater, he's been impressive.
He's been really good, and I think we've seen the ability to make plays, especially coming out of his own zone, and something that Doug Christensen stressed in the pregame, say we need to be clean coming out of our own zone. I think he's been excellent in this game, and it's simple. You get your head up, the puck on your stick, you look for an option. You see an option, if it's open, you make the play. You don't try to put your head back down and stick handle and try and stick handle out of trouble. So I think the simplicity for him is really helped him, including a great offensive opportunity earlier in the period in which he drew a penalty.
Zulsdorf, a 5th-round pick of the Tampa Bay Lightning back in 2015, played 4 years at the University of Minnesota. Final minute of the first period, the Fuel lead at 1-0 on Michael Pellick's power play goal. Michael Jolie across the Fuel line, loses a D, takes it to goal, and he's forced wide by Willie Raskob. Another good chance by Jolie, and now a poke check by Spencer Watson forces it free as Jolie was trying a tour of the attacking zone. Naylor's quick re-entry, wattling over to the far side, looking for Hayhurst. Marcineau forces that wide. Jolie able to keep it alive, feed it up to the point for Topatic. Over to the far side for a shot from Watling that is on goal and steered aside by Bakala. And the Fuel play it out to center with 20 seconds to go in the period.
Well, Andrew, I'm going to say it right now. If you don't cover 88 in black, he's going to end up with a goal.
Here is Seamus Malone coming into the Wheeling end, looking to center from Marcineau, sticked aside by Dorio. 10 seconds to go as a shot from the point goes wide by Indy. And behind the goal, Spencer Watson with 3, looks to send it out in front, but couldn't connect with Seamus Malone, and that's how the first period ends. The Indy Fuel leading the Wheeling Nailers 1-0 on Michael Pellick's 4th goal of the season, a power play goal that came at the 7-minute mark of the opening period. Shots on goal were 9 apiece. Wheeling 0 for 4 on the power play. Indy 1 for 2 with the man advantage. Tim Davison making the first pass out of the zone. When he gets possession, that first pass is right on the tape, and the Fuel able to break it out cleanly. And when you make plays coming out of your zone, good things happen. And then Dan Backlow, what a period he had, especially with Michael Jolie hanging around his net most of the first period and having a lot of dangerous scoring chances.
Michael Jolie, 4 shots in that period. I would say 3 were platinum golden scoring opportunities without a doubt. And Dan Backlow has been one of the best goalies in the league all year long, and you're seeing why. But I think the Fuel have to be a lot better defensively in their own zone, knowing who has who. When you look at the most recent chance later in that period for Michael Jolie, you had one defenseman, which was Davison, attack the puck carrier in a corner. That's what you want to do. Willie Raskob is that other defenseman. You want to make sure you're covering the net front. You don't want to just leave it wide open. What Raskob thought is that the puck was going to be rimmed behind the net around the board. So he kind of cheated towards behind the net to try and intercept it, and all of a sudden the puck goes from the corner to the net front, and I didn't get a good read on it to see who had left. There was a low forward that had kind of gone towards the puck. So you get some guys caught puck watching, and you leave a guy like Michael Jolie wide open at the net front. I mean, this is a guy who's done nothing but put up points in his career. So some breakdowns defensively, and I think that that's going to be a real point of emphasis for Doug Christensen and Andy Contoy in this first intermission. Say, hey guys, look, we're up 1-0. We're happy to be up 1-0. The power plays look good. We've killed off some big penalties, but we need to be a lot better in our own zone. And it starts with a guy like Davison or Ryan Zulsdorf, who I thought both had really, really good periods, just by being simple. And you don't want to overcomplicate things, especially for Davidson when it's your first game. You don't want to look up, look back down, and then look up for option number 2. Why go to option 2 or 3 if option 1 is wide open? So it's all about having the confidence with the puck on your stick to get your head up, make the simple play, and get out of your own zone.
Yeah, Michael Jolie, 41 goals in this league 3 years ago with the Colorado Eagles. And then he went up with them when they went to the American Hockey League and played the last 2 years there before coming back to the ECHL this year with Wheeling. And he has always been one of the elite players in this league, and he's not a guy you want to let loose. And the other thing is, you don't want to put this Wheeling team on the power play. So far, the Nailers 4 power plays, including a 38-second and a 98-second 5-on-3. And Dan Backlow had to be good. You say your goalie's got to be your best penalty killer. He was, but a really good job of killing penalties. But the key is, especially playing a team that's in the midst of a 3-3, you don't want to give them time to kind of catch their breath on the power play and have opportunities.
And I would also say that when you're killing penalties continuously, when you're killing 4 penalties a period, it's really tough on your offensive players because not all of them kill penalties. You think about a guy like Matt Marcineau and Nick Pirog, both those guys kill penalties. But look at a guy like Spencer Watson. I mean, he's not necessarily your traditional penalty killer. He's out there in a 5-on-5 situation, 4-on-4, power play. And you want him out there to try and impact this game in an offensive way because that's how you're going to win. So I think they have to put a cap on these penalties. And you look at the types of penalties that there were in that first period. You had slashing, a delay of game penalty, which, sometimes you just can't help. The puck goes on edge. You had cross-checking. You had high sticking. So these are penalties that are avoidable. And, Andrew, we've talked about it over the last couple of weeks. If you can limit those penalties, you're not going to give the opposition opportunities on the power play. And it's not just that, but a lot of your, or I wouldn't say a lot, but some of your really, really important players, when they're just sitting on the bench, you get cold and you get out of a rhythm. So if you can limit that and play 5-on-5 and play a man out on the advantage, that's going to help you in a big way. And, I mean, this Wheeling Nailers team, they certainly didn't look in that first period like they are playing 3-3 and 4-6. And I think the Fuel had a lot to do with that because they spent so much time in the box.
And special teams have been the story so far. The Fuel 4 for 4 on the penalty kill, including 2 extended 5-on-3 kills. And those watching on Flow seeing the highlights of Michael Pellick's goal and the first period highlights. And you get 1 on the power play, you kill off 4. That's obviously a pretty good period special teams-wise. I think, Nick, a key in this second period, staying out of the penalty box so you don't have to be as good special teams-wise.
No question. And looking at the stats in between the periods there, Andrew, there's only been 2 teams with more total penalty minutes this year than the Indy Fuel. The Fuel have 505. Florida and Wheeling, the only two teams with more. The Indy Fuel, fourth most average penalty minutes per game, just over 16. And they have the second most minor penalties with 175. I mean, that tells me that they're spending way too much time in the penalty box. And although they do have some of their skilled players killing penalties like a Matt Marcineau or a Nick Pirog, to get into a rhythm, to keep those guys warm, to keep them in the game, you need to stay out of the penalty box because those guys don't kill penalties and you want them out on the ice to make a real impact and have an effect on the game. And I think that has to be a point of emphasis and a key moving forward. I don't think there's any question that Doug Christensen has talked to his group about that, saying, hey, look, especially a team that's played 3 games in 3 days, we don't want to give them the rest that they would get on the power play and the opportunities. Keep it 5-on-5. Take them to bat in this period and try and use your skating legs to the advantage.
We're underway in the second period. Wheeling wins the opening draw. Save made back. McNally puts it back through. Traffic loose in the crease and goes wide. Now Miller fouls one off as his stick explodes from the left point. The Fuel try to feed it ahead to Spencer Watson on a stretch pass, but a little too far ahead of him. Marcineau hops on it, right wing circle. Sends it into the high slot for Zulsdorf. Now to Willie Raskop, right point for the Fuel. Looks to cycle it back in behind the net. Marcineau has it left corner. Miller without a stick. Now was able to get a forward stick, so he's able to tie him up.
Yeah, it was a stick of Sean Jocelyn, gave it to his defenseman. That's what you do in a situation like that. If your D doesn't have it, they're more important because they're doing a lot more defending.
Matthew Thompson back into the zone, takes it to goal. Dorio able to fight it off. And the puck goes out of play for a whistle. 1:07 into the second period. The shots are 10 apiece. The goal's 1-0 in favor of the Fuel.
And for those watching on Full Hockey, they saw Matt Miller's stick rupture into 2 big pieces in the offensive zone, and all of a sudden the Fuel came back the other way. He couldn't go to the bench and get a stick, so good recognition play there by Sean Jostling of Wheeling to get his defenseman a stick. If your defenseman is ever in his own zone and he doesn't have one, you want to make sure you get him one because, like I said earlier, he's doing more defending. He's more integral to the defensive part of the game. And the same thing goes for your goalie. If the goalie stick breaks or he loses it, a player can give him his stick to use.
Face-off in the Wheeling zone. Still loose and controlled by the Fuel. Cuglietta tried to send it low. Now feeds Pirog for a shot that's deflected wide. Will feed it ahead to Jacob Hayhurst, but the pass doesn't connect. Zulsdorf takes it for Indy. Ahead to Pirog, can't get it out. Held in at the point. And Kuzmeski looks to center, but the pass doesn't quite connect. Now here's a shot from the point from Smith that goes wide. Jolie has it along the far boards. Pirog rakes it off of his stick back into the Wheeling zone. This will be an icing, and the Fuel will be unable to get a change. 17:37 to go in the second period. The Fuel lead at 1-0.
Well, good interception there and a great stick from Ryan Zulsdorf as the Wheeling Nailers try to go from the point. Looking for a stick. I think it was Michael Jolie who was on his way venturing to the crease area, and Ryan Zulsdorf with one hand on his stick fully extended. You cover a lot more ground with one hand on your stick as opposed to two. And he denies the opportunity as Antoine Waked makes his way to the dressing room, followed by equipment man Darren Flincham. So you got to think it's an equipment-related issue, so we'll keep an eye and monitor that. But for right now, Antoine Waked is heading to the room.
Wheeling wins the offensive zone draw. McNally shoots from the left point, gloved by the goaltender Dan Bakala. Hurst intercepted by the Fuel at center, and Mike Lee will fire it in on goal, and Dorio with a glove save and holds on for a whistle. Alex Dorio is the rare right-catching goaltender. Usually a goaltender has the blocker hand in the right hand, so what does that do to a forward? Because now your angles are a little bit different. If you're trained to go high glove on a goalie, well, that's obviously high blocker on a guy like Dorio.
Well, it just throws things off. If you're a righty, you're used to going high glove. Now you're going high blocker. And for lefties, I think especially see a lot of left-handed players on a breakaway situation. They try to go backhand, forehand, real quick play. Just try to put the puck under the blocker, and all of a sudden you're shooting into the glove, which is a lot more accurate of a save for the goaltender with the glove as opposed to the blocker. So they got a lot more movement in that glove hand. But just a different look. I don't think it should throw off a shooter too much, but all of a sudden, yeah, you're right, Andrew. You're expecting to go glove, and then all of a sudden it's the blocker, the goaltender. And I think another reason, a lot of lefties like to do the forehand, backhand move. And on a lefty, when you're going forehand, backhand against a traditional catching goaltender with the left, his stick is in his right hand. So when you're going from right to left, he kind of moves that stick out of the way when he moves left to right. But all of a sudden now, if he's the opposite catching hand goaltender where he's got the stick in the left, you're kind of going into his stick movement. So it's just a little bit of a different look. And, hey, it's kind of like a lefty pitcher in baseball. You don't see a lot of them, but when you do, it just kind of throws things off.
Wheeling wins the draw in its own zone, and the Nailers ice the puck. They were offside after winning the previous draw as well, and the faceoff came back into the Wheeling zone. So we'll do it again. 16:52 to go in the second. The Fuel leading 1-0. Malone, Marcineau, and Watson, the forward unit for the Fuel, with Lee and Teixeira on D. And Marcineau, one of the top face-off guys in the league, talking to Mike Lee. He's facing Brady Tomlak. Tomlak was a teammate of Billy Christopoulos at Air Force. And Marcineau wins it cleanly. Lee, center point, shoots on goal. Dorio with a glove save, and he holds on for a whistle.
Oh, yeah, Andrew, you talk about Matt Marcineau talking to guys off the faceoff a lot like an air control commander, where you got to make sure as a center iceman you tell everybody what's going on. If you're running a faceoff play, it's on you to say, hey, we're running this play, we're running that play, so everybody knows what they're doing off the draw. I love to see him communicating with his teammates before the faceoff, so when he wins it more times than not, everybody knows exactly what they're doing. He's the captain of the faceoff, so great job by him to make sure his teammates know exactly what's going on going into each faceoff.
Nailers win the defensive zone draw. Jacob Pritchard at center. Good back check by Marcineau does not allow him to dump it in, but the Nailers quick re-entry, 3-on-2 across the line for a shot from Alfaro. Blocker to side by the goaltender Bakula, and now here come the Fuel with numbers the other way. Malone across the line, puts on the brakes, hits the trailer. Teixeira, he shoots wide of the right post. Lee tried to feed it into the circle to Malone, but he couldn't get the shot off, and the Nailers will lob it out to center, but the puck was hit with a high stick. So we'll have a whistle and a face-off back in the Wheeling zone. Kind of a choppy start to the second period. No scoring in the period. The Fuel leading at 1-0.
And the best chance there for the Indy Fuel, as you had both defensemen in on the rush as well earlier. A little good save there with the blocker by Dan Bakula on the rising shot from Matt Alfaro. You had both defensemen jumping into the play. Mike Lee and Keone Teixeira got the pass across the ice from Seamus Malone, who got his head up and made a good play entering the zone. But Alex Dorio was there to make the save, as you had 3 or 4 Indy Fuel players driving the net.
Wheeling won the draw, but Michael McNicholas breaks up the rush. The net. Kuzmeski gets there for Wheeling, with Thompson flushing him out, and he softly sends it to center for Alfaro. Raked off of his stick, and Tim Davison holds for the Fuel. Stretch pass to the line, ahead to Cuglietta, right circle, waits for reinforcements, feeds it across for Thompson, into the middle. Hutchinson couldn't get a shot off, but Cuglietta does, and he scores. Diego Cuglietta gives the Fuel a 2-0 lead as he sticks with the play and beats Dorio into the open side. And Cuglietta scores his 5th goal with the Fuel and extends the lead to 2.
What a pass up the ice. Quick transition. Diego Cuglietta using his speed and intelligence to find the open ice in behind, and Matthew Thompson. If at first you fail, try again. First pass doesn't get to Cuglietta. Comes right back to him, and Diego's got a wide open net as Alex Dorio was just swimming around in his crease like a fish. But that all came off the heels of a great offensive zone shift, wearing down Wheeling. The best shift of the game for the Fuel, not just because it ends in a goal, but because of the amount of time they spent in the offensive zone, wearing down a team that's played 3 games in 3 days, and now they have a 2-0 lead.
Cuglietta, 7th of the season, as the Nailers play it into the Fuel zone. Here at the Fuel lead it 2-0. The goal, Cuglietta, 7th of the season from Thompson and Hutchison at 4:45, and for Nick Hutchison, that's his first point in 5 games and just his 2nd in the last 11.
Something to build off of. Offense has been tough to come by for 47 and Nick Hutchison, but anytime you can see a couple points accrue in the point column, whether it's a goal or an assist, those are the small things you can build off of as a rookie player, still trying to find your way in the ECHL.
Fuel lead at 2-0. Hutchison brings it through center, cross-corner dump, followed by 3 Nailers below the goal line. Puck jarred free and comes to Wheeling's Cody Sylvester. Rink wide pass to Rivera, and now they feed it ahead to Sylvester, left circle. Forced wide by Seamus Malone in the back check, looks to center, and the puck explodes off of Rivera's stick. He tracks it down in the left wing corner. And it comes up to the point, but nobody was home. Topatic was a little too far over to hold it in, so he'll have to track it down behind his own net.
That was a great back-checking play there by Seamus Malone. Kept his feet moving the whole way. Wasn't playing at the end of his reach, prone to taking a penalty.
Here's Hayhurst across the line. His shot blocked wide by Teixeira. Mike Lee rims it around. 13:03 to go in the second period. Along with Nick Olczyk, I'm Andrew Smith. The Indy Fuel leading the Wheeling Nailers 2-0. Diego Cuglietta, 7th of the year at 4:45 of this period for Matthew Thompson and Nick Hutchison extending the lead. Tim Davison does not get an assist on the play, but it was his stretch pass that really sprung the whole play. And he has impressed in his debut at the Fuel. This is also his first game for Tim Davison since January 9th against the Fuel with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits.
It looks like he's been playing for about 2 months with how good he's been in this game.
Watling gains the Fuel line for Wheeling. Looks to send one across and ends up putting it on goal from a sharp angle. Dan Bakula with the grab and the hold for the whistle.
Davison, not exactly inexperienced. 70 games played in the ECHL between South Carolina and Greenville. 31 points, so he knows how to contribute offensively. And this is a guy who in his college days in 2017-18 won the Big Ten Sportsmanship Award. So you talk about recruiting high character players to this Fuel team, which is one of the prerequisites that Doug Christensen has for all the players he brings. He pretty much checks every box, and you're exactly right, Andrew. I think he's just been fantastic this year and is not rewarded with an assist, but a huge part of that second goal of the game for Indy.
Fuel win the draw. Chris Martinet behind his own goal to McNicholas. Nice short pass to Pellick. Rink wide to Zulsdorf. He gains the Wheeling line with space. Right circle fires. Blocker save made by Doria. Works it low for a sharp angle shot. Bakula shuts it down. McNally has it along the left wing boards. Hooks it up top. Kuzmeski over to the far side for a shot from Sylvester that goes high. And Michael Pellick has the puck in his own corner, battling Garrett Hunt.
I think Dan Bakula might have got a piece with that with the glove. An unbelievable save again on a wide open chance.
Kuzmeski takes it in his own zone as the Fuel able to clear. 11:52 to go in the second period. Indy leading 1-0. Wheeling getting a change. The Fuel trying to make some changes as well as Adam Smith trying to stretch past to Alfaro. It didn't connect, and icing is going to be called as Zulsdorf was a little closer to the puck when the whistle blew and when they got to the dots.
Well, we've said the name Dan Bakula a lot today, but I mean, how many great saves has he made? A couple times where he's ended up on his backside. Point blank chance there after both Indy Fuel defensemen went towards the puck carrier. They made one pass and found a guy on the back door. He's just been very, very special today.
Fuel win the draw. Spencer Watson shot from the top of the circle is blocked. One-timer doesn't go. And the Fuel can't clear it out, though. Holds it in at the left point. Skates into the left circle. Good stick by Cuglietta. Forces it free. Topatic holds it in along the far boards to Sylvester. And Cuglietta again active. Forces it free, but it comes back to Sylvester. Puts it out in front for a shot on top of the crease, and Dan Bakula with another point-blank save to keep this a 2-0 game. He holds for a whistle with 10:19 to go in the second.
Well, the most recent great save, we just got done talking about it, Dan Bakula. Again, it was Nick Rivera who just kind of redirected the puck towards the net. It was a shot pass type of play. He presents his stick blade in a manner to where the puck just kind of rides off the stick like a ramp and into the paraphernalia of Dan Bakula, and I think they are going to review this. Now, I saw the referee, the official Logan Gruhl, motioning behind the net. Wasn't sure if Dan Bakula was pushed into the net. Of course, if he's pushed in by a Wheeling player, it's no goal, but a nice passing play there from Cody Sylvester to find the stick of Rivera, and you could see Rivera kind of had that second whack. Now, did he push the pad of Dan Bakula into the net, then propelling the puck over the goal line? I think that's what they're looking at. But the motion behind the net by the official was no goal. And that was the call on the ice.
They're looking at it right now and taking a long look at it. is our referee Logan Gruel, and Cameron Dykstra, the linesman, in there with him.
Because the first redirect did not go in. I think it's the second whack or push on the pad of Backla. That's what kind of carried his momentum into the net. And of course, if that is deemed the case, it's going to be no goal, because you can't push a goaltender into the net with the puck with your stick.
Well, here's the verdict. But first, the referee's going to wipe himself down, so then he says no goal. So, a little dramatic effect there from Logan Gruel as he waited just a second, grabbed the towel, and then signaled no goal.
Hey, it's an important call. He's sweating a little bit out there.
Absolutely. It's a second review of this game, and
you'd
both
rather
of
have
them
it right.
no goal.
Yeah, you'd rather have it right. I mean, that's... If you have any question or any doubt, the call on the ice was the correct one, but you just go check the iPad just to make sure it's the right call. I like that. As long as it doesn't take too long, it was in a good manner of time, and they get the right call on the ice.
Nailers control off the offensive zone draw. Comes up top to Aaron Tho. He'll wrist it in behind the net, looking for Nick Rivera. It's forced free on the doorstep, and Backla able to hold the fourth. The Fuel clear it into the Wheeling zone, and Nick Pirog trying to win the race. But Aaron Tho had the angle, and thus icing is called against Indy. 1 second away from the midway point of the game.
When you see your leading goal scorer and a guy who's tied for the second most goals in the entire league, Nick Pirog, doing that gets the bench going. And it gets other guys feeling like, hey, if our top offensive guy's doing that, I'm going to skate a little faster and work a little harder. I just love to see Nick Pirog doing that and expending all the energy. Actually negated an icing earlier in the first period, so he's skating well. And when he's skating hard and fast, he's like a train on the tracks. Really hard to knock him over.
Fuel in the draw, can't clear on first effort. 2 on second as Matthew Thompson has a steal at his own line, brings it into the Wheeling zone, shoots from the top of the right wing circle, but Dorio makes a glove save and holds on for a whistle. 9:50 to go second period. The Fuel lead at 2-0 on goals from Pelech and Cuglietta. 1 in the first, 1 in the second.
And you look at Nick Pirog this year, he is your 5-tool player. Plays in every situation, penalty kill, power play, makes a real impact on the game, whether he scores or doesn't. Such an important fixture and pillar of leadership, wearing the captaincy with Cliff Watson, the Indy Fuel captain up in Rockford.
Fuel in the draw. Zulsdorf shoots through traffic. Dorio made a save, and I'm not sure he really knew where the puck was. He hit him in the pads, and he was able to find it and cover for a whistle.
It was another case of a shot type of pass as Ryan Zulsdorf and Nick Hutchison come together right now, and you could see once the shot pass was let go by Zulsdorf and then Dorio made the save, both Hutchison and Zulsdorf kind of looked at each other and gave a little nod of appreciation, said, hey, good look on that last play. So I like to see that little link up at the front of the net.
Nailers win the draw. Adam Smith will skate it out along the left wing boards to center. Hutchison breaks it up. Hutchison's got an assist today. Puck comes in across the Fuel line, and Watling is tripped up. The Fuel will be shorthanded. On the delayed penalty, here's Kuzmeski. Takes it behind his own net. Dorio heads to the bench for the extra attacker.
Yeah, penalty's going to be on Michael Pelech. Was going for the puck, but got skate.
Nailers bring it into the zone, and Tomlak whistles it through. And it comes all the way back out into the Wheeling end, where Kuzmeski will track it down behind his own net. Now Hayhurst to McNally, looked for one across the seam, but Michael Pelech comes across to get the touch up. With 8:55 to go, the Fuel shorthanded for the 5th time in this game as Michael Pelech will sit for the next 2 minutes.
Oh, it's the first penalty of the second period for Indy. As you see there, Michael Pelech goes tree chopping with his stick, trying to go for the puck, trying to go for the stick, and instead just gets a whole lot of the skates of Patrick Watling and hauls him down. No question on that penalty there. And the Fuel's penalty kill, which has been really, really good all game long, will be tested again for the 5th time as we just cross over the halfway mark in the game.
Wheeling is 0 for 4 with the man advantage. Alley who walks the line. Over to the far side, Sylvester. They work it low for a turnaround shot. Save made. And the Fuel get it, but not out. Jolie holds it in. High slot. Fires a slap shot high. And the carom comes all the way to the right point where McNally hustles over to keep it in. Sylvester right half wall. Sends it across to Jolie up top. McNally's one-timer on goal and a pad save made by Bakula. Sylvester holds it in. Right half wall. Works it low for Rivera. Sweeps it around to Sylvester. To the bumper. Watling, his shot is high from the right circle. Jolie comes in to hammer it around to Sylvester along the right wing boards. Malone comes out to greet him. 49 seconds to go in Wheeling's power play as McNally wrists one from the point. Bakula catches it and holds on for a whistle with 7:40 to go in the period and 45 seconds on what's been a pretty fruitful power play for Wheeling. A lot of good looks, but Dan Bakula has held strong so far.
And a big reason why it's been so fruitful was the missed clearance by Seamus Malone. Had an opportunity to clear the puck all the way down. He didn't. He whiffed on the puck. Just kind of got too much with the stick of his, with the heel of his stick. And then Wheeling was able to keep things in the zone, keep things going. McNally with a one-timer, good pad save by Bakula. And then again, Patrick McNally with a little floater from the point as Dan Bakula was able to trap it to the chest like a piece of Velcro. And the face-off coming out of his left.
And he'll send it into the Wheeling zone, looking for Waken, who hops on it, bottom of the left wing circle, takes it a goal short-handed. Dorio holds the fort and takes a big bump for his efforts, and now here come the Nailers. The other way, Hayhurst 2-on-2 across the line. Good poke check there by Mike Lee. Forces it free, and then the Fuel on second effort able to work it out to center. And then the puck was brought back in offside. With 6:53 to go, we've got a stoppage. And we also have Pellick out of the box, so we're back to 5 aside.
Oh, that is a fabulous defensive play by Mike Lee as the Wheeling Nailers were coming through the neutral zone with a whole lot of speed. And you could see his eyes. They were on the chest of the on-rushing attacker. As a defenseman, you get your eyes on his chest. You don't fall for any of the slick shoulder moves or stick handles. You keep your eyes on his chest. You follow his body. You're going to lead him where you want him to go. Had a great stick. Forced him wide. Forced the turnover. And, of course, forced the offside as well. Just a great play from the rookie.
Nailers win the draw at center. Garrett Hunt tries to hold it in and does sit in behind the net. Tomlak tried to center for Hunt. Corner in the Wheeling end. Pellick digs it free. Jams it behind the net over to the far boards. Willie Raskop hustles over to keep it in to Hutchison. McNicholas looking for the tip from Pellick, but it was a little bit behind him. Hutchison has the puck along the left wing boards for Indy. Settles it down. Sends it up to the point. Willie Raskop uses the head fake. Gets into the left circle. Into the slot. Scores! It hit the post. It hit the post. I thought it hit the back of the net, but it hit the post and came out. Kuzmeski for Wheeling. Brings it up through center across the Fuel line. And he'll wrist it through. Dorio lost a stick on the play. He's able to go over and get it. And the puck comes to Keone Teixeira, and he lobs it in all the way. Icing is waved off as they say McNally could have played it before it got to the red line.
Square off the post from Raskov there, but he made the play originally to keep the play alive at the blue line. Won the race, took a big hit, but kept it alive. And then that was just a blistering wrister.
Seamus Malone dangles, takes it to the bottom of the circle, wrists it through the crease. And the Nailers play it out to the Fuel line. Willie Raskop couldn't get it through Jolie. They've got a little 2-on-1 in front. Hayhurst fires on goal, and Bakula with another 10-bell save. This is a positional stop to shut down the Wheeling rush. 5:16 to go in the second period. The Fuel lead it 2-0. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
This is Indy Fuel Hockey with Nick Olczyk and Andrew Smith.
5:16 to go in the second period. The Indy Fuel lead the Wheeling Nailers 2-0. Dan Bakula with 23 saves in this game, and a lot of them have been of the 10-bell variety. He has been really good.
He's been the human form of Velcro in pads and on skates. The rebound control has been great, positionally strong, and the desperation saves, I mean, he's made them look incredibly easy. What a game for him. Very well could be a 5-2 game if not for the performance of Dan Bakula.
Fuel win the defensive zone draw. Pirog in the left wing corner in the Wheeling end. Cuglietta helps it along. Comes into forecheck as the Fuel play it into the Wheeling zone. Wake it up to the point for Teixeira, over to Mike Lee, right point. Stick handles past Pritchard into the right circle, shoots, he hits the pile in front, and then Pellick wristed the rebound just wide of the post from the doorstep. Hutchison along the right wing boards, rubbed out by Alfaro. Those two go into the corner, comes free to Wake it behind the Wheeling net. Into the left wing circle, up to the point, Lee uses a little pick play to get free and to the left wing circle, tried to send it across to Teixeira, but it's knocked out to center by the Nailers, and Antoine. Rivera in on the forecheck as his line comes out. And the Fuel send it up through center. Cody Sylvester picks it off for Wheeling. Willie Raskob stops their rush. And it comes back to Kuzmeski at his own line for the Nailers.
The last shift for Mike Lee and Nick Hutchinson, both guys throwing spinoramas and channeling their inner Patrick Kane. Able to work by a couple Wheeling Nailers players and keep play going in the offensive zone.
Willie Raskob across the line, takes it to the middle, takes it to the forehand, feeds it across, but Seamus Malone couldn't do anything with it on the doorstep. Watson into the back check, forcing the puck free. It comes back to Tim Davison for the Fuel. His pass ahead to Cuglietta, sends it across to Watson. 2-on-1 across the line with Malone, and the play was offside. Seamus Malone went just a hair early because that was a 2-on-1 from the blue line in, but Malone just got a little bit too antsy. He was waiting at the line and ended up going just a half the stride early.
And it was not like Spencer Watson was stick handling at the blue line. When you're the puck carrier, the idea is to just get the puck over the blue line, because when you start trying to go east to west, that's when you throw your teammates offside. Even though the guys without the puck, it's important for them to do everything they can to stay onside. But I think you're right, Andrew, just a little bit too antsy, a little bit too excited. And don't forget about the great pass by Diego Cuglietta on his backhand past one Wheeling Nailer player to create that opportunity.
Cuglietta's been the Energizer Bunny today, forces the puck free again, and it allows the Fuel to send it into the Wheeling zone. Cuglietta into the right wing corner, sweeps it into the slot, but it was a little bit behind Pirog. Jolie takes it out to center for Wheeling. Across the Fuel line to Hayhurst. He'll send it in. Bakula sticks it aside. We have a whistle and a high sticking penalty.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to go to Diego Cuglietta, who quickly went to the bench. And he was the one that was the first in on that forecheck. And I would absolutely agree with you, Andrew. I think he's had a real strong game. And I really like him at the center ice position. Just brings that speed element in the middle of the ice that the Fuel don't have a whole lot of. As far as the first three strides, Cuglietta really quick in terms of his agility and acceleration. Just gets the stick up, and luckily no blood drawn, so he'll sit for two. And a late power play here for Wheeling with under 2 minutes to go. This is a huge opportunity for them to try and convert late in the period and get some momentum going into the second intermission.
Second power play, or excuse me, the sixth power play of the game for Wheeling in the game 3. Wheeling didn't score on its last power play, the one power play it had earlier this period. They had a lot of zone time and some good looks.
And a couple block shots, too, for Indy. And that's one thing that they've done really well, helping out Dan Bakula, though he's been there to make the saves when they've needed him. The defensemen especially have been really impressive in terms of blocking shots and selling out. And if you want to have a good penalty kill, that's what you have to do.
Nailers win the draw, and we have a penalty, and it's going to be on Wheeling, an interference call, as somebody ran a pick on the face-off play, and that will negate the last minute 53 of Wheeling's power play as Nick Rivera goes to the box.
Yeah, that's a huge blow for Wheeling, a team who is desperate and I think have really created enough to score goals, but Dan Bakula has been good enough to keep them at bay. And that's just one of those plays off the face-off where you're just trying to buy a little bit more time when your team wins the draw. So if your centerman pulls it back as a winger, especially in a defensive zone draw, if you're the guy in the middle of the ice, you're just trying to get in the way of a defenseman or a forward coming out to try and get that puck. So a little bit too much of a pick set. And now we'll have 4-on-4 hockey for the remainder of the period.
Set that pick this weekend, and it would be a much celebrated play when the NCAA basketball tournament comes here for the weekend. The Fuel will oblige by beginning a 2.5-week road trip on Wednesday as we hit the final minute of the second period. Sylvester behind his own net. We're 4 aside for the remainder of the period. Now here's a feed ahead to Sylvester. He's got a step across the line, shoots wide of the left post, tried to go short side, delayed penalty coming. Yeah. On the Fuel, a slash, and now Wheeling will have a 4-on-3 power play.
Yeah, it was Tim Davison who did a nice job keeping his feet moving in quick transition, and it was Sylvester who came in on the near side. And you could kind of tell when he let the shot go, it came fluttering off of his stick, and it was because Tim Davison came down on his hands. in a hacking motion. In modern day hockey, any sort of nimble touch of the hands with your stick on the puck carrier's hands, it's going to be called. So you like the fact that Davison was moving his feet and coming back, but gets his stick involved in the hands of Sylvester. Sylvester not able to create the shot that he wanted, and now 4-on-3 with 45 to go in the second.
So it'll be 4-on-3 for 48 seconds. Then it will be 4 aside for 7. And then Wheeling will have a power play for 1:05. Over to the far side. Puck hopped off a Jolie stick, but he got it back. Up to McNally. Top of the circle. Feeds Alfaro. Left circle. Sends one in front. And Bakla made the save as Sylvester was looking for the deflection. Alfaro. Over to the far side. McNally takes it high slot. Now into the left circle as he switches places with Alfaro. Works it low to Sylvester. Behind the Fuel goal with 17 seconds to go in the period. Over to McNally. Back to Sylvester along the goal line. Takes it to goal. Save made. Bakla. And he squeezes the knees to get a whistle with 11.7 seconds to go on another point-blank chance from Cody Sylvester.
Oh, my gosh. He's been unbelievable. Andrew, I'm about ready to say uncle. He has just been so strong in this game. And don't forget about the chance that happened a little earlier. Alfaro shot tipped by Sylvester. And I think it was just a quick reactionary play with his left hand, his catching arm. Might have just gotten the puck to deflect it wide, and then a great save there again. And this is the third time the Fuel have been down to 3 men on the penalty kill. And they have looked really strong, being led by the man in between the painted pipes.
Marcineau, Malone, and Raskop are the penalty killers. Alfaro to take the draw for Wheeling. He's out there with Sylvester and Jolie and McNally, the defenseman. McNally to Sylvester, left corner. Raskop rides him into the boards. Puck free behind the goal. Marcineau comes in to dig it free. Jolie up top has it swept off of his stick by Seamus Malone. A really good job by the Fuel in those final 10 seconds, knowing there was short time, being really aggressive hunting the puck and not allowing Wheeling to set up.
And if you can force the first turnover and you're able to get another guy in the vicinity as that second wave of support, which is exactly what happened there with Seamus Malone, you're going to be able to recover pucks and send them all the way down. But they have certainly been really, really good in this game while down to 3 men. But you have to limit that moving into the final period of regulation.
Second intermission at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. The Fuel lead Wheeling 2-0. Shots on goal in that period, 17-9 in favor of Wheeling, 26-18 for the game for the Nailers. I think it's one thing we've talked about a lot. This Fuel team, second to Florida in the number of minor penalties taken this season. And they're, I think, taking a little bit too many penalties for Doug Christensen's liking. Right now, the penalty kill has been very good, but a big reason why has been the guy in the pads wearing number 39 standing in front of the goal.
Well, I'm glad you bring up Florida, because I don't know if it's something where the top teams in the league, you take penalties and you have the 2 best records. I mean, I know Wichita is having a heck of a year over in the Western Division, but, I mean, you're right. You put so much pressure on your goaltender and your defensemen, your penalty killers, when you just keep taking penalty after penalty. I mean, they've had to try and kill off 7 tonight. They've done so. And you think back to a couple weeks ago where the Indy Fuel had, like, 3 straight games where they were 7 for 7 on the penalty kill. Like, that's great. You love when the penalty kill is being this good. But it's kind of similar to a power play where, you know, you score 2 power play goals a game for a long stretch and you're activating at a 25, 30, 35% clip. You know, eventually it's going to start coming back down and you're going to go through those ebbs and flows where maybe you don't score on a power play or you go 5 games without scoring on it. I think it's very similar to the penalty kill. You just can't keep giving the Wheeling Nailers these opportunities. And a lot of the penalties, as we've talked about often this year, they're minor penalties. They're offensive zone penalties in terms of the Diego Cuglietta high sticking call. Slashing, tripping, cross-checking. These are things that you can fix. Now, we've been talking about that for a couple weeks, and it has consistently been a thing. So I think you eventually are going to have to either get it or don't. And it's certainly not, you know, the biggest problem ever because they have been good on the penalty kill. But when you start going up against really, really good teams, and not to say Wheeling isn't, but when you start going up against the upper echelon teams of the league where they have guys that just need 1 shot to score or they need 1 power play to capitalize, let alone 7, they're going to make you pay, and they're going to fill your net. So it doesn't matter how good your goaltender or penalty killers are. So a positive is the penalty kill has been great, and you've been led by Dan Backela, who I think you probably owe him breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the next week. But you need to stay out of the box in this third period, because if they get one, they have the willingness and the relentlessness to hang around. And that's exactly what they're going to do. So stay out of the box in the third period. Don't give them any hope or belief that they can come back, and just keep it 5-on-5.
One guy I've really been impressed with, we talked about Tim Davison and Ryan Zulsdorf in the first intermission, especially Davison, but Diego Cuglietta looks like a guy who's playing at a different speed today. He's been not just doing what he does in the offensive zone, and he has a goal tonight, but he's been getting it done in the defensive zone. And you saw Doug Christensen put him out there on the penalty kill because he's hustling after pucks. He's making plays. He's creating chaos in the defensive zone by being really hard and really aggressive to lose pucks, and he's making things happen because of that.
I've talked about it this season, how underrating passing is, especially in youth hockey. But I think something that's equally as underappreciated is stopping and starting. A lot of players in hockey nowadays, they just tend to turn and loop, where the puck is turned over and you just go for a loop as opposed to stopping, spraying some snow, and then accelerating back the other way. And Diego Cuglietta, as quick in the first 3 strides as any player on this Indy Fuel team. And they've got some pretty quick guys. And you put him in the middle, you put him in a center ice position where in his own zone, you're doing a lot of down low defending. He's able to make those switches off with his defensemen if they need to, or to win a race to the puck in the corner. Is he the biggest or strongest guy out there? No. Is he going to get knocked down? Yeah. But I love the mentality of using that speed, and it's not just when the puck's on his stick. It's when he doesn't have the puck, and he's working for his teammates, and he's getting open, and he's hard on the forecheck. I mean, look, the penalty that he took down here in the near side corner in the offensive zone, you loved everything up until the penalty. He got his feet moving. He got in front of the defenseman. Then the defenseman was able to use his physicality and get back in front of him. And then he takes the penalty. But you love the effort and the continuous job of keeping his feet moving. And that's the one thing that he knows he has a leg up on a lot of other people in this league. And there's no defense for speed except speed. And not a lot of guys can skate as quick as he can, especially in the first 3, 4, or 5 strides. I've been really impressed with him as well, Andrew. And you look at the versatility of players on this lineup, guys that can play all 3 forward positions. He's one of those guys. I mean, he's the proverbial Swiss Army knife for Doug Christensen.
And that's the thing. He's a natural center. There's a lot of natural centers on this team, and that allows Coach Doug Christensen to mix and match and move some guys around. Wheeling will begin the third period with a 4-on-3 power play. Then we'll skate 4-on-4 for 7 seconds. And then the Nailers will have a 5-on-4 power play for 1:05. So an important early penalty kill here for the Fuel. They were in this position at the beginning of this 15 home games and 18-day stretch against Wheeling, where they had an early kill. They actually had an early power play, unable to cash in. Wheeling then got a power play scored and eventually won that game in overtime. It's important to get a kill here and keep this a 2-goal game, especially against a team that the legs may start getting a little heavier as the third period goes on.
And a way to eat into that is to win this opening draw. Matt Marson, who's going to take it, one of the best face-off guys in the league, arguably the best face-off guy for this Indy Fuel team. So if he can win the draw, hold on to it for a second, it looks like he's going to try and win it back to Willie Raskov and then just clear it all the way down. If you could do that, you're going to easily kill off 15, maybe even 20 seconds by the time Wheeling can get back into your own zone and set up. So the mentality has to be winning this opening draw, and eventually when you do kill it off, Andrew, you have to stay out of the box in this third period. You don't want to give the Wheeling Nailers any hope that they can hang around in this game. The next goal is going to be absolutely huge, not just so the Wheeling Nailers can get back into it, but hopefully for the Fuel to step on the jugular and create separation between, you're right, a team that's played a lot of hockey here in a short period of time, and the Fuel, who are a much more rested team than Wheeling.
So we're 4-on-3 to begin the period. Cuglietta will come out of the box 3 seconds in, and The Nailers are now back to full strength. They have a 5-on-4 power play. Rivera, right circle, shoots back low with a save, and Martinet backhands it out of the zone.
That was a quick reactionary play there by Martinet as the puck came off of Dan Bakala's pad with a whole lot of speed. And just kind of all in one motion, Martinet was able to jab at it on the backhand and clear it.
McNally gains the fuel line. 37 seconds to go in Wheeling's power play for Sylvester. Along the right half wall, bring it down toward the corner. It's swept away from him by Mike Lee. Puck comes free, bottom of the circle, right to Lee, and he's able to clear.
That's the way you clear the puck. You're not pulling any punches. You're not trying to be cute with it. Just pound it off the boards. Great job by the rookie, who's playing a lot like a veteran this season in Mike Lee.
And Davison's out of the box. The Fuel back to full strength. He brings it into the Fuel zone. Drops it for Jolie. Along the right wing boards into the corner. It's taken away from him, and then Topatic gave Thompson a bump as Thompson sent it back to the Wheeling line.
Yeah, it looks like he's holding his back right now. That was a big step down by the defenseman, and Matthew Thompson took a hit to make a play. We'll monitor his condition the rest of this third period.
Martinet gave Jacob Pritchard a bump as the Nailers sent it behind the net. Pass for Pritchard doesn't connect. It's taken away by Marcineau. Davison, he gains the Wheeling line, sends it in behind the net to Pelech in the right wing corner. Up to the point, Raskop. Back in behind the net looking for Pelech. Puck copped over his stick into the left wing corner. Davison pinches down to wrap it around, and it comes out to center where Willie Raskop will track it down at his own line.
Smart pinch down play there by Tim Davison. He realized that he had a forward covering high. He had that third forward, the F3 high, to cover his spot. That allowed him to trigger and go down and keep the play alive and direct that puck towards the net.
Nailers send it in. Bakala stops it. Garrett Hunt in on the forecheck. Teixeira sends it past him. And the Fuel break it out to center. Hutchison. Over to Hutchison. Puck hops over his stick, but he takes it along the left wing wall. Now drops it for Teixeira. Bottom of the left circle. Wrists one toward goal. Dorio's able to make a pad save.
Nice activation from the point there. Keone Teixeira. That's when the Fuel are at their best. They're interchanging forwards with defensemen. That way the opposition, they don't have to worry just about the three forwards, but the D as well.
Hayhurst gains the Fuel line. He goes down as he tried to get a shot off and missed it wide. Puck comes out to the point, held in for a shot from the point, save made, rebound, score. Michael Jolie has been hanging around the crease all night, and he cleans up the loose change to draw the Nailers within one with 16:15 to go in the game.
Well, you just felt it was a matter of time before Michael Jolie was going to find the back of the net, and the Fuel are unable to clear their zone. You had Matthew Thompson and Nick Pirog trying to get that puck out desperately, and the Wheeling Nailers were able to keep it alive, and the long shot from the blue line ricochets off of Dan Bakala's, couldn't tell if it was his pad or blocker, but it came right to Michael Jolie, who has been calling the net front in the crease home today. Able to shake free of a check from a Fuel defenseman in front, and all of a sudden now the Wheeling Nailers have some life. And you just knew if there was going to be a guy to get a goal for Wheeling, it was going to be Jolie. He does, and it's 2-1.
And so now the Fuel have had their lead cut to one. And it was fought off by Dorio with a huge screen. Again, Davison with a wrister from the left point goes high and wide. Teixeira races over to hold it in at the right point. Behind the goal for Pelech. Battling a couple of Nailers below the goal line. Comes free for a shot by McNicholas that is on goal and shut down by Dorio, and he covers up for a whistle. That may have been more of a pass by McNicholas, but it ended up being right to the goaltender, and Dorio gets the whistle.
And I think Michael McNicholas really had an opportunity just to take that puck to the net. Both defensemen, or at least the defenseman and the low forward for the Wheeling Nailers, were kind of backing off towards the slot. That gave McNicholas a clear lane to the net, and yes, he was on his backhand, but he tried to pass it into traffic when he had a clear lane just to try and jam that puck to the net, maybe make a little move in tight. So a missed opportunity there as he tries to pass into traffic as opposed to just taking to what's given and trying to get a shot away on Alex Dorio.
Nailers clear it out to center. Indy with a quick re-entry. Teixeira up the left side into the circle. Shoots, fought off by Dorio. And the Nailers bring it through center with numbers, and a good back check by Teixeira forces it free from Hayhurst. Pirog at center. Go ahead, Nick.
That was great recovery. He got caught up the ice. He used that great speed to come back and make a physical play.
Mike Lee sends it up to center, rink wide, looking for Cuglietta. Ahead to Pirog, 1-on-3 across the line, shoots, and a bad save made by Dorio. After it himself, and It's taken by Adam Smith of Wheeling, rimmed around to Garrett Hunt. Tries to backhand it past Zulsdorf, but can't get it through Spencer Watson, left circle. Watson tries to take it to goal, forced wide by Miller. Spencer tried to center for Malone. It was knocked back into the boards in the left corner. And Seamus Malone able to take the puck. Now to Marcinu. Tried to send it up to the point. It was knocked down by the Nailers, but not out. Held in by Zulsdorf. On second effort, Garrett Hunt is able to work it out to center. The Fuel will tag up. And then Marcinu comes back in on the forecheck.
One thing I've noticed in this third period, the Indy Fuel defensemen they're not sitting back. Like, they're being really aggressive, pinching down, trying to keep plays alive, and that's what you got to do when you're defending a lead. You don't want to just sit back and defend. You want to attack, because at the end of the day, the best defense is offense.
Fuel unable to clear it out of the zone as Alfaro takes it along the right wing board. Pass was a little bit behind his man, and Pelech gains control for Indy and sends it in behind the Wheeling goal. Topatic up the far side. Sylvester bunts it across and is able to get it as far as Keone Teixeira at center, and he sends it back into the Wheeling zone where Pelech forces a steal, feeds Pirog, shot on goal, save made, rebound to Thompson, but he couldn't beat Dorio to the short side. Thompson hustling to keep it in, but unable to do so. He'll try a quick re-entry, backhanded into the Wheeling zone, go after it himself, give Topatic a bump as he's able to go D to D to Tho. Up the far side, chopped out to center by Sylvester. And Teixeira will settle it down at his own line.
You're really starting to see the tired legs come to fruition now for the Wheeling Nailers, becoming lackadaisical with the puck in their own zone, and the Fuel are taking advantage.
Thompson in behind the net to Mike Lee, the defenseman forward to the goal line. Pass for Jolie, and he takes a big hit. Goes in behind the goal to Hayhurst. Looks to center. Up top, McNally shot deflected over the net.
That was Spencer Watson with a sliding block shot. What a play.
And the Fuel unable to clear. Miller holds it in at the line. To Jolie, backdoor feed to Hayhurst, and he caught it on the forehand. Couldn't do anything with it. Fires, blocker save made on the shot from the right point by Dan Bakula. And Cuglietta tries to self-pass up the far side. Can't get it through Miller. Still battling, but Alfaro comes back to help out his defenseman and take the puck.
Great idea there from Diego Cuglietta. Realized he didn't have anybody with him. Just trying a little chip, a little chase. And just unable to beat that defenseman one-on-one, but you like to see him not trying to stick handle through the defenseman. Just putting it to an area and using his great speed to get in behind and try and possess the puck.
An errant stretch pass goes for icing on Wheeling, so the Fuel will get an offensive zone draw. 10:03 to go in the third period. Indy leads it 2-1. Michael Pelech in the first, Diego Cuglietta in the second for Indy, Michael Jolie in the third for Wheeling.
How about that block shot from Spencer Watson on that last shift? I mean, like a baseball player sliding into second base. That was more like sliding into home, the desperation on that block. And I'll tell you what, when you see that guy doing that, it gives everybody an energy boost.
30-goal scorer last year, ECHL Sportsmanship Award winner was Spencer Watson. Been in and out of the lineup, nursing some injuries as the Fuel's shot from the point on goal from Martinet deflected. Dorio able to make the positional save, and then he does a snow angel to fall on the rebound. 9:45 to go in the third period. The Fuel lead Wheeling 2-1. This is Indy Fuel Hockey. D to Smith, and he'll wrap it in. And Tomlak forces a free behind the Fuel goal. Looks to center. Feeds it up top for Topatic. He fires, save made. Rebound put right back in front, and it wouldn't go. And Michael Pelech chips it out to center. Another good chance for Wheeling.
I think Willie Raskov might have gotten a block on that too, whether it was a shin guard or a stick. Great chance in front again from Wheeling. These guys are not going anywhere. Great chance, but a better defensive play.
Stretch pass to the Fuel line, broken up by Keone Teixeira. And Indy sends it through center, but it's picked off by Marino, and he'll fire it in. Loved by Bakula, left for Lee. He sends it all the way down the ice, and it was untouched, even though it looked like Topatic was coming over to play the puck. They whistle he did not have an opportunity to do so, so icing is called.
And look, that's a fine play. I mean, Wheeling has started to find another gear in the last two shifts. I'm fine with just sending it off the glass and all the way down. Now you got to rely on your centerman to win a draw with some help from the wingers and the defensemen, but it's a lot better than a turnover, so at least this way you can regroup, get a little bit of rest, and try and rely on big Michael Pelech to try and pull this draw back, get it clear to the neutral zone, and then get some fresh bodies on the ice.
8:28 to go in the third period. The Fuel lead at 2-1. Pelech against Hayhurst on the draw across the Fuel line. McNally backhands it in toward Bakula, who blockers it into the corner. Comes free to Matthew Thompson along the far wall. He'll bring it out to center. 4-on-2 developing for Indy. Thompson hits the trailer. Pirog left circle, sends it in front. Dorio makes the save. And now Wheeling outlets to Watling across the fuel line. Looks to center, but Chris Martinet was in perfect position to break it up.
3 guys caught up the ice, all forwards for Wheeling, and a 4-on-2 the other way. And Nick Pirog, instead of shooting it, tries to pass to Matt Marcineau driving the net, and nothing came of it.
Adam Smith at his own line for Wheeling. Soft pass into the fuel zone looking for Alfaro. Martinet tries to tie him up a little further along to Malone, but it ended up going up into the netting and out of play. With 6:49 to go in the third period of the game, Indy leads 2-1.
And that really was a heck of a chance where you had Wheeling overcommitted in the offensive zone, and you had a defenseman in the rush as well. Nice cross-seam play, and in that situation, and you're Nick Pirog, you got 16 goals this year, second most in the entire league. In that position, I want him shooting that puck. And I mean, you know what he was trying to do, find Matt Marcineau driving the net for a little redirect stick play. But in that position, I'll take 10 times out of 10 for Nick Pirog in that position to rifle that puck and just pile drive it at the net.
He has an assist tonight. Nick Pirog has gone the last 3 games without a goal as the Fuel win the offensive zone draw. Raskob shot hits the pile in front. Josling's able to find it and backhand it to Jacob Pritchard, who will bring it through center for Wheeling. Over to the far side for a shot from the left point from Aaron Tho that's on goal, and Bakula in good position. Saw it all the way, makes the save and gobbles it up with 6:25 to go in the third.
You've kind of noticed in the last couple of shifts where the Wheeling Nailers have been able to find that extra gear. And when you're playing your third game in 3 days, and more importantly, your fourth game in 6 days, in that last game of the week, you don't really know when it's going to hit you. Is it going to hit you in the second period or late in the third period when you're going to really start feeling it? And I think early in this third period is when we really started to see Wheeling make mistakes, especially coming out of their own zone. The Fuel were able to capitalize for some offensive zone time, but not able to capitalize with a goal. And Wheeling has had a couple of opportunities and situations here at the net front in the last couple of minutes. So now it's just about making sure you're being as simple as you can in your own zone. Anytime you have a chance to clear the puck, you got to do it.
Tom Lack wins the draw from Cuglietta. Sylvester shot from the top of the circle, blocked, and the Fuel maintaining a 2-1 lead, but a big push from Wheeling here in the last few minutes, really since the TV timeout. That seemed to settle them down, and since they've had the better of the play.
And it's what we talked about before the game even started. You hear coaches talk about this Wheeling Nailers team. They just keep coming. It doesn't matter if they've played 4 games in 6 days or 5 games in 5 days. It doesn't matter if they're up 5 or down 5. They're just going to keep coming. It's the way that they've been bred and brought together, and we've certainly seen that here today.
McNally with a wrister from the point after they win the draw. It goes wide to center. It pinballs around and finally comes to Nick Pirog. Headmans to Thompson across the Wheeling line. Left circle, takes it to goal, and it's poked off of his stick just as he got to the top of the crease. Now the Nailers will play it through center. Pass wide for Tom Lack. He couldn't stick handle through Teixeira, and his feed ahead to Cuglietta doesn't connect. Aaron Tho settles it down in his own zone for the Nailers.
Love to see Matthew Thompson driving to the net there. And a couple other players heading towards the net as well. Not taking it wide and staying perimeter, just took it right to the net and forced Dorio to have to make a save.
Nick Hutchison breaks up Wheeling's entry and sends it in softly in behind the Nailers' near corner, and that's where Hayhurst takes it for Wheeling. Lateral pass, Miller now headmans to the Fuel line. Zulsdorf doing a great job of tying up Watling and stopping the rush, and the Fuel play it back into the Wheeling zone with 4:40 to go in the game. Indy leads at 2-1.
And it was perfect angling with his stick. Angles Watling towards the boards with his stick, then comes through with the body and steals the puck. Just great defending from Zulsdorf.
Bakula wraps it around, but it comes right to Topadic. Fires one wide, and then a shot from along the left wing boards off the stick of Adam Smith is on goal. Bakula makes a glove save and holds on.
He didn't even make a reaction. That puck just found its way into his glove, and then all of a sudden he goes, oh, look what I got here, a cookie in the cookie jar. 2-1, under 5 minutes to go in the third period. We'll be right back.
When you get care at Community Health Network.
Back to the action with Nick Olczyk and Andrew Smith with Indy Fuel Hockey.
4:27 to go, third period. The Indy Fuel lead the Wheeling Nailers 2-1. Big push from Wheeling after the last TV timeout. Now we'll see what comes after this one. 3:25 to go in the game. The Fuel lead at 2-1 as Hayhurst brings it into the Fuel zone and behind the goal. Comes over to Matthew Thompson. Nice short pass ahead to Cuglietta. Self-pass off the boards. 2-on-1 through center. Rink wide to Pirog. He couldn't quite handle the pass cleanly, but gets it back. Feeds Lee for a shot blocker. Save made by Dorio. And here come the Nailers the other way. Jolie, one-on-one across the fuel line with Teixeira, forcing him wide beside the goal. Tried to send it up for Miller, but Thompson comes back in the back check to take it away. And the Fuel chop it out to center.
Fantastic chance there for Mike Lee. I think that might have even hit the post.
Nailers try to send it into the zone, but a good stick block forces it up and out of play. And we'll have a whistle with 2:48 to go. 2-1 Indy leads, and yeah, tremendous look from Mike Lee from the top of the left wing circle.
And the whole play originated because you had a Wheeling Nailers defenseman pinch in. That's what they're going to do. You're under 3 minutes. They're going to be more aggressive to try and keep plays alive, and Diego Cuglietta made the play in his own zone. He read the pinch, chipped it off the boards, used that great speed, and then sent it far side for Nick Pirog, who couldn't handle it on the backhand, but he knew that he had Mike Lee coming, dropped it to him, and that shot just clanged off the iron. What a chance to try and make it a 3-1 game.
Nailers win the draw at center and send it in. Chris Martinet sends it right back out. Goaltender is off. Sixth attacker on for Wheeling as we hit the final 90 seconds of regulation. Tim Davison turns around, fires it all the way down, and this will be icing. Offensive zone draw for Wheeling with 1:24 to go in the game. The Fuel leading at 2-1.
First game in a long time, in a couple of months for Tim Davison. But he has arguably been the best player today for the Indy Fuel. Probably one under Dan Bakala, and for the impact that he's had on the game. But it's just the simplicity, using his physicality. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but has had a lot of patience and poise and confidence with the puck. Same can be said for Ryan Zulsdorf, who had an excellent shift right before that last shift for Tim Davison and company. And timeout taken here, and both coaches are going to go over plays. And in Doug Christensen's mind right now, you're telling the guys, hey, this is what we do if we win the faceoff, and this is what we do if we lose it. Everybody knows where they're going. And for Wheeling, I mean, you have the advantage, 6-on-5. You got your goaltender pull. You're absolutely going to try and run a play off the faceoff. I mean, the importance for them is just to get possession. I mean, they do have a lot of time, just under a minute and a half here to go in the third period.
2-1 the Fuel lead. The goaltender Dorio is off for the extra attacker. So Wheeling 6-on-5. Matt Marcineau out to take the draw for Indy. Spencer Watson and Seamus Malone, the other forwards. Raskob and Lee will be the D pairing.
Says a lot for these guys to be out here on the ice at this time. They've all played really, really strong. And Tim Davison out there as well had a great game, deserving of this ice time at the end of the game.
Nailers win the draw. McNally center point low and now gets it back. Sends it up to the point for McNally. It over to Jolie. Right circle. Up top, McNally. Over to the far side. Sylvester skates in. Shoots. Glove save. Bakala. Rebound. Fought for in the crease. And Bakala falls on top of the puck to get a whistle with 56.4 seconds to go.
Patrick Watling, the left winger for the Wheeling Nailers, was doing a heck of a job at the net front screening Dan Bakala. And they get the shot. And you could see Bakala, he was leaning towards the right, trying to look around the right side of Watling. And at the last second, he's got to shift back to the left. And then again, for the sixth time today, he ends up on his back making a save. The desperation all day has been awesome for the man in the crease.
56.4 to go. Cuglietta now to take the draw for the Fuel of the game. Nick Rivera will fire it in. Bakala stops it into the near corner. And it comes along the far wall. Chipped out to center. Antoine Waken hopping on the puck. He's got Cuglietta in the middle and then tried to feed Cuglietta. And the stick was knocked free. I think one of the Nailers threw the stick at the puck. And if that's the case, that's an automatic goal, and it is.
Yeah, it was Patrick McNally. Great flip-out play by the captain, Nick Pirog. He didn't have a play along the board, so it's the high backhand flip, the Hail Mary pass, and then Waken. And watch the stick here for those watching on Flow Hockey. McNally chucks his stick to deny the backdoor pass to Diego Cuglietta in a wide-open net, and without question, the goal is awarded. You cannot throw your stick to intercept the puck. And the Indy Fuel are awarded their third goal of the game. Great job in their own zone. I love the high flip from Nick Pirog just to get it out of danger. And the speed of Wakeett and Cuglietta tough to beat.
So 3-1, the Fuel lead as they're awarded a goal thanks to the defenseman throwing his stick at the puck at an empty net. That's an automatic goal, and the Fuel will see it out as we hit the final seconds and the horn sounds. And the Fuel win at 3-1. Diego Cuglietta is awarded his second goal of the game, his 8th of the season, and the Fuel win at 3-1 over the Wheeling Nailers. They snap a 3-game losing streak with the victory, and they cap off this stand of 15 of the last 18 at home with a victory, and that sends them off to a 7-game road trip with a little bit of momentum.
Well, a huge win for the confidence of the Indy Fuel. A lot of great things in this game, some not so good things, but all in all, a great performance up and down the lineup. Tim Davison, first game, arguably could have been one of the 3 stars with how he played in his own zone. Dan Bakala was a star and a stud from the opening puck drop, as he has been all year, the epitome of consistency. And the Fuel earned 2 huge points this afternoon.
The Fuel moved to 22-8-2. They move within 4 points of the first place Florida Everblades with 2 games in hand. The Fuel win it today 3-1 over the Wheeling Nailers.